Welcome back, gang. Maverick here, and we recently played through Mortal Kombat 1, but we only got to see a handful of fatalities, and the essence of a Mortal Kombat game is the fatalities. That's what makes the game, that's what makes it so brutal, that's what we all love to see. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of the fatalities. We're just going to look at fatalities, and as we go, I'm going to rank them from best to worst. Some of them are obviously better than others, as you'll see, and if you have a different ranking, please drop a comment, let me know, see if we can come to a consensus on which one's the best and which one's the worst. Let's jump right in. Alright, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to start from the left hand side, Johnny Cage, move all the way through the list to Sonya, but let's kick things off with Johnny Cage. Alright, gang, Johnny Cage on Scorpion, and it's a head uppercut decapitation. Decapitation fatalities have become kind of a boring fatality, but back then when this first came out, Johnny Cage had the original head decapitation fatality. I gotta give him some credit. Not the most exciting fatality, but it's a head decapitation. At the time, it was like, whoa, he just punched that guy's head off, blood goes everywhere. Not a terrible fatality when this game first came out. Now, as we go through these, we'll be ranking them. Like I said, here's how I'll be ranking them: 1 through 7 for the 7 different characters. So we only have Johnny Cage at the moment, so he's got the top spot, but let's see if we can dethrone him. Alright, gang, next up is Kano. Alright, let's jump right into it. Alright, gang, here we go with Kano. He's got a pretty cool fatality. Let's check it out. Look at this. Reaches into his chest, rips his heart out, and it's still beating. Just one of the best fatalities of all Mortal Kombat, even to this day. I just love that fatality. I can't get enough of it. I think the original Kano fatalities are better than his modern fatalities. So, obviously, if we go to the ranking system, where all we have is Johnny Cage with his head decapitation fatality, which I said by today's standards, not so hot, but back then the original head decapitation wasn't bad, but we have to give it to Kano. He's not just knocking someone's head off, he's reaching into someone's chest and ripping their beating heart out. That's just one of the coolest fatalities. That's creative, even by today's standards. That's creative. I love it. Alright, so we just saw Kano rip someone's heart out. Up next, going along through the character select screen, is God of Thunder, the Protector of the Earth Realm, Raiden. Alright, gang, here's Raiden. If Johnny Cage was just... there we go, okay. Now, Raiden in this one, puts a huge surge of electricity into Johnny Cage's face right there, and his head just explodes. That's a creative take on the head decapitation. So let's go to our rankings before I continue. Okay, so creative take on head decapitation. So I do think it's better than Johnny Cage. But at its heart, and I'm not meaning that as a pun for Kano's fatality, but at its heart, it is just a head decapitation. So I'm putting Raiden in at the number 2 spot, with Kano at number 1 still, with the heart rip out, and Johnny Cage bringing up the rear so far with the head decapitation. I will say, 3 solid fatalities so far. None of these I would knock too hard, especially for Mortal Kombat 1. When this came out, if you did any of these at the arcade, you were the man. The crowd was going to say, whoa, that's some brutal stuff right there. Alright, on to the next one. Back at the character select screen, We've seen Johnny Cage's head decapitation. We saw the awesome Kano fatality ripping out a heart. We blew someone's head off with electricity. Liu Kang, the champion of the Mortal Kombat tournament, is up next. Alright, gang. Here we are with Liu Kang. Let's see what he's got. Alright. Now, let me just say, I did not mess that up. That was, in fact, Liu Kang's fatality. But, oh my god. While it was fatal, while we did kill our opponent, that was not a fatality. That was a disgrace. Liu Kang should be embarrassed. You know, the designers of this game should be embarrassed. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give that I would give that finishing move, not a fatality, a 0. You know, the philosophical amongst us will say, well, 0 is not a number. It's actually just a concept of nothingness. Well, I'm giving it a 0 because I wish that concept was nothing. I wish that, quote, fatality never came into existence. I mean, look at it. It just does like a wheelhouse kick and uppercuts them. Now, there is some backstory to this, that Liu Kang is supposed to be, you know, honorable. He doesn't finish off his opponents in brutal ways, blah blah blah. But that's just not an acceptable finishing move for a game such as Mortal Kombat. So, seeing as I wish that fatality never existed, we're not even going to rank Liu Kang's quote fatality. He's going to fall into this loser box that I have labeled as a disgrace, and he will remain there. Spoiler, he's not making it into the top 7. As it should be. Goodness. Let's look at that one more time. What a disgrace. Okay, alright. Enough of Liu Kang. On to the next one. On to a better finishing move. On to a real fatality. Alright, gang. You know, we saw what Liu Kang had to offer, and it was pitiful. It was a disgrace. But we're on to Scorpion. And I think we all know Scorpion's going to have something better in store for us. Okay, gang, as fate would have it, the next fatality with Scorpion is going to be on Liu Kang. Here we go. Alright, Liu Kang, your time has come. And what a better fatality that is. Scorpion takes his mask off to reveal a skull, a menacing skull at that. He shoots these hell flames out, crisping his opponent down to dust and bones. Now, the first time you see that, you can only think, whoa, that's awesome. You know, you don't have a huge grasp, you know, a great grasp of who Scorpion is as a character at this point, first time you're playing Mortal Kombat. And for him to take his mask off and you know, reveal that he's got a skull under there and he can breathe flames, just one of the most memorable fatalities of Mortal Kombat 1. So, for that reason, putting him at the number 2 spot right now, just behind Kano's heart grab. While the flames are cool, there's nothing quite like ripping someone's heart out while it's still beating. So Kano still takes the 1 spot. And Scorpion beats out Raiden's creative head decapitation. And we've still got Liu Kang over there in the disgrace corner, where he will remain. Okay, on to the next one. Alright, gang, we just did Scorpion's Hellflame fatality, and up next is SubZero. Alright, gang, SubZero's fatality coming right up. We'll be doing it on Scorpion. Oh, and we saw this in my playthrough of Mortal Kombat 1, but this fatality never gets old. I mean, it is at its core a head decapitation, but it's not just a head decapitation. The entire vertebral column, spine, vertebral bones, and all come out. I mean, SubZero just pulls the whole central nervous system out. So I guess it's a central nervous system decapitation in that regard. And you know, this is the fatality that when people talked about gore, shock and awe, Mortal Kombat's not good for kids, when they showed clips on the news, this is the fatality that they showed. And so for that reason, given it's, you know, one of the coolest creative things ever to pull someone's entire central nervous system out just by grabbing their head, but also for its historical significance, this fatality gets the #1 spot. It beats out Kano's heart pull, which just barely beats out Kano's fatality. I do have a soft spot for Kano's fatality in this game. But SubZero, I think most of us would agree, let me know if you disagree, he deserves the #1 spot. Now, that's not to say he's going to keep the #1 spot. Let's keep going. Let's see who's next. Alright, we're back. After SubZero, it's Sonya Blade. Let's see what she's got. Alright, gang, here with Sonya Blade. I never play as Sonya Blade. I, have had to try this fatality a couple times before I could get it. And she blows some kind of energy off of her palm, like blows a kiss of fatal energy off of her palm, and it kind of does a loop-de-loo, hits the opponent, and they burn to a crisp. Now, I'm not sure if this is a bad fatality, but I don't understand it. I just can't explain what happened there. So as far as like if I saw this, when I did see this for the first time, yeah, I'm kind of like I am now. What just happened? And for that reason, I have to rank this fatality really low. It is a fatality. The opponent did burn to a crisp from some mysterious energy, so it's nothing like Liu Kang's disgraceful excuse of a finishing move. But I do have to put this behind Johnny Cage's head decapitation. I just don't get it. Now there is a 7th spot left, and that is going to be for the last fatality in the game that we haven't seen, the stage fatality, the pit. Alright gang, here we are on the pit, ready to knock Johnny Cage to his spiky death with the stage fatality. Oh my goodness. Alright, here we go. Uppercut him. He didn't actually fall on any spikes. That's disappointing. Let's try that again. Alright gang, here we are on the pit, ready to do a stage fatality. Uppercut him. SubZero falls to his death and impales his body on some spikes. This is a cool fatality. Back then on Mortal Kombat, you didn't have all the fatality codes necessarily, so an uppercut was a pretty cool finishing move. And if you happen to do it on the pit, then you got yourself a fatality, just for doing an uppercut. And to fall, to learn that they're falling off a bridge that they've been fighting over with a ton of spikes. There's not just spikes on the ground, there's spikes on the columns holding the bridge up. It's a brutal pit, and it's a cool fatality. So, for that reason, I have to put it at the #4 spot. It's not SubZero's central nervous system removal, or Kano's heart removal, or Scorpion's hell flames, but I do think the pit has a ton of nostalgia, and it's better than Raiden and Johnny Cage's head decapitations and Sonya's, whatever Sonya's fatality is. And we won't even talk about whoever's in the disgrace box down there. Actually, we will. I'll say this. Liu Kang's finishing move, I refuse to call it a fatality, but his finishing move, if you perform it on the pit, his uppercut will send them into a stage fatality. Like they'll get knocked off the bridge and fall into the pit, impale themselves on spikes. So you can change Liu Kang's finishing move into a stage fatality. but we're not going to give him any of that respect because he doesn't deserve any of it. But here are the final rankings for my Mortal Kombat 1 best to worst fatalities. SubZero, historical, gruesome, classic. Kano coming up second place. I have a soft spot for his fatality. I just think it's so cool that the heart's still beating when he rips it out. And you know, later this will be copied. I think Hunter x Hunter came out after Mortal Kombat 1, and Killua does a character in that series does a similar thing where he rips someone's heart out. But I think he rips the heart out with the pericardium still around it. Either way, coming up in third is Scorpion. Fourth, the Pit. 5, Raiden's electricity head blow up. 6, Johnny Cage, the original head decapitation. 7, Sonya's mysterious energy ball blowing a kiss. And that's it. Let me know if you agree, disagree, have any comments, and I'm going to run through the fatalities one more time here at the end of the video. That's it, gang. Those are the Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities. I'll see you next time.